Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. If you just got off with me and you were trying to tell me my audio was off, thank you. In today's episode, we're diving into, or at least continuing the coverage of Savanah Soto, a pregnant teenager who was ruthlessly taken away from this world way too soon. And so we're going to be diving into what we know in the arrest of the father and son and comparing it. Does it definitely look like the people in the video? Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. A father and a son have been arrested in the death of Savanah Soto and her boyfriend Matthew Guerra and little baby Fabian. Let's not forget, little baby Fabian was taken from this world before he even had a chance to start. And so now there has been an arrest. And is there peace? There's no peace. You can never have these two kids back. That they were teenagers. They had so much life to live, and it was ruthlessly taken away. And so now that we know that there is more to this, we want to see, who else is there? Is there anyone else? Well, according to the police, there is not anyone else involved. And so you had the dad, Ramon, which is the big guy you see in that surveillance video. And, if you remember, and we're going to show that video, of course, but if you remember, there was the, is that a girl that could be driving the car because of the long hair and obviously really hard to see? So that would make total sense as to why anyone would think that, right? But you also got to see, it's like, okay, there was definitely, you had the big guy, which is now we come to find out the dad. And then you had the guy that comes out of the car. The son is driving the car, the one who is charged with capital murder. Dad is accused of helping him get rid of the corpse. So he's charged with abuse of a corpse, whereas Christopher, the son, Christopher Preciado, 19 years old, another teenager. I said to myself, when this was all when they're going to be caught, there's going to be a teenager or teenagers involved. Come to find out, it definitely wasn't another teenager. It was a teenager and his dad trying to help him cover it up. We've seen this happen a lot of times where the parents will be the first to protect you even if they know you are dead wrong to rights. And sometimes you have the parents that are going to be like, you're wrong, son, daughter, but you're going to have to pay the consequences. Not in this case. This guy was going to try to help his son get away with murder. And so there was a press conference, and so the police guy, he was sharing stuff. The detective, he was sharing, and he shared a lot about the case of Savanah Soto. And so Christopher and his father Ramon, they were nabbed by San Antonio police more than a week after the young woman and her beau were killed from gunshot wounds to the head, because we did find out that they were both shot in the head. And so Savanah Soto, she was only 18 years old. She was a teenager. And Guerra, he was 22 years old. Young man, had a lot of time to try to change his life around. They were both found dead and never given the opportunity to really try to right whatever wrongs that they were into. They were both found dead on December 26th in that car that was outside an apartment complex in San Antonio. Again, it's San Antonio police that have made this arrest. They're the ones that were. Tonight, SAPD, which is San Antonio Police Department, they arrested 19-year-old Christopher Preciado for the murders of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra. Now, Christopher is the one that's charged with capital murder. There's a baby involved with this, okay? And from my understanding, because she was pregnant, that's what made it a capital murder. I didn't look into that. I kept forgetting to look into that part of the capital. But Ramon, who is the one that answered the door when police arrived and said, "I know why you're here." He's charged with abuse of a corpse for helping Christopher move the bodies after they were murdered. Okay? And so it appears, according to Police Sergeant Washington Moscoso, he says it appears to be a narcotics related deal that went bad. That's exactly what he said. Narcotics deal that's gone bad. And, you know, it's like at the end of the day, we were thinking it definitely had something to do with that part, right? We thought it had something to do with the drugs, right? Soto, she vanished on December 22nd is what everyone thought. But see, the police said that it was December 21st, right before midnight, that they were killed. So everyone started looking and wondering, like, they disappeared on the 22nd, but it was actually the 21st that we come to find out, because we didn't really know too much, but come to find out it was actually the 21st. I took some notes on here, so that's why I'm making sure that I go through and make sure that what I was reading and writing and throwing. But you know, at the end of the day, like, we wanted justice, and now there's a chance that there might be some justice. And you know, mom, she's not gonna have her baby girl back, because of course that was gonna always be her baby girl, you know, because she was reported missing by her family members when she didn't show up for her appointment at Stone Oak Methodist Hospital. She was going to be induced at 6:30 that Saturday. Now the 21st was on a Thursday, okay? So Thursday, right before midnight, which is the Friday, right? Midnight Friday, right before midnight, that's when she's killed. She's supposed to be at the hospital with her family on the 23rd, and no one's heard from her, okay? So going from Thursday until Saturday, then they're like, something's gone wrong. You know, Matthew's dad goes to the apartment. Mom, everyone starts going to the hospital. They're like, what is going on? And San Antonio cops, they previously had released the surveillance footage of the two, okay, which I just showed you on that. So they just released that, and they were like, okay, we have these two persons of interest near the crime scene. But guess what, my friends? It was Savanah's cell phone itself. So I feel like Savanah helped solve her own murder, because it's what led to the vehicle. It's what led to the truck that was sitting outside front when police arrived, knocked on the door, and Ramon says, "I know why you're here." To me, that's chilling. That is chilling to the core. You know, and truth is, when we stop and we think about it, okay, we knew that there was going to probably be him having to do with Matthew's lifestyle. That was one of the things that everyone kept alluding to, right? And so when that came about, it's like, okay, like you know, these guys weren't trying to, they knew that everyone was looking all over for this truck, but it definitely did not look like they were going to try and hide it very well at all, actually. And so with that, it's like, I know you knew that they were looking for this truck, right? So here's the truck. It's literally on Google Earth as well. People saw this thing on Google Earth. Okay, so stop and think about this, right? Stop and think about this for a second. You had these two guys, everyone knew that they're looking for this black truck. The car's already found. And there's two dead bodies in the car, right? Rest in peace to those two. And here's this truck. This is the truck that was in the surveillance. Okay, that's the same truck. Okay, we knew that it was a big guy in a tank top, We knew it was a guy. And then now we have the truck that looks just like the truck. Literally looks just like the truck. And there's the guy, right? This is Ramon. He's the big guy getting out of the truck. And so, and it's like, okay, the tip line started going off. Truth is, there was a lot of tips that didn't make sense. There's a lot of people that were just started going all over the map and pointing at everyone and putting addresses out there. And at the end of the day, we have to be careful and listen to the media. So often we run with things because, Joe said something and it's like, hey, could this be real? And then all of a sudden someone's taking it as it is. But here's Christopher. Christopher is the one that's charged with capital murder. He's the one that was driving the Kia Optima. You see, that was the one suspect behind the wheel of the Kia Optima that pulled into the parking lot to the dark pickup truck that was driven by the other suspect, his dad. But he's the one that is accused of killing the two victims, while his father is alleged to have helped. He only helped move the bodies. He didn't help kill them. So somehow or another, maybe he was in the back seat. This was supposed to be a trusted guy. Maybe he said, we don't know all of the details. And truth is, we may never know all of the details. At the end of the day, justice for baby Fabian and justice for Savanah, and justice for Matthew. That to me is what counts. But authorities said that they do believe that Soto and Guerra they were killed around midnight on December 21st, right before midnight. Okay, now Soto's cell phone, that was recovered by investigators. And that proved to be crucial in the investigation that led them to the truck. And when they get to the house, they knock on the door. And Ramon opens the door and he says, I know why you're here. And so, really, there's gonna continue to be more that comes out, right? But we're glad that they got the Chevy pickup truck and they got it at his home address, which was seen on Google, right? Once you start getting out there, how everyone starts, they can get deeper and deeper. But the good news is there is an arrest. And so everyone obviously is going to be looking for more on this. And the family needs time to literally find some grieving time now, because they were just at their ends wits trying to find out what happened to their kids. The 22-year-old, he's a young man. He's a man. He is a man. But the teenager, she had so much life. They both still did. 22 years old is still a lot of life to live. Is that not a fair statement? That really, that's and so you got to stop and you got to ask yourself, okay, with that being said, what else is there? What else is there with there? But, I think that it's critical that we know exactly as much as we can, because at the end of the day, they deserve justice. And so here is, the detective, the police guy, and he's sharing. Mr. Moscoso, he's sharing. And, San Antonio police, they said that they collected that cell phone. I think that's a critical thing that we need to, I love that helped lead them to them. And so that was a key piece of evidence when they discovered Soto and Guerra's bodies in the Northwest Side apartment complex. Again, they found him on December 26th, and the cell phone was there, but Matthew's cell phone wasn't there. And so information on the phone, it led detectives to that. It led them to the suspects. And so officers, they conducted surveillance first, of course, right? They're going to see who's living there. And they arrive, they conduct surveillance, like what's going on over here. And that's where they believe that that's the vehicle suspect literally sitting in the garage as we're knocking on the door, right? And so the officers, they conducted surveillance. And when they believed that the suspect vehicle was there. So police, they knock on the door. And again, Ramon Preciado, he answers the door and he said he knew why police were there. That's according to the San Antonio Police Department. Literally, that's what they're sharing about this. And so they say that the deaths are definitely in reference to a botched drug deal, and that they were killed on December 21st, right before midnight. And they say Christopher, he is again the sole killer in the case, and they said that the dad helped. And so literally, that to me is open and shut, if you ask me. It's literally open and shut. Little baby Fabian is going to get justice as well. I think that that is a critical piece that we must not forget. One of the reasons I do this channel is so that the victims have a voice. And guess who does not have a voice? Baby Fabian. And so I think that it's key that all three victims have a voice in this terrible, tragic case where they did the unthinkable to them. They did something that should not ever happen. And unfortunately, Christopher did the unthinkable in a botched drug deal. We knew that something might have had to do with it. We had some ideas on it, but you know, we were easily judging, were we not? We were judging his lifestyle and saying that he is the reason behind it, and truth is, they both might have been playing a role, but no way, no how did they deserve this. No remotely way. And so I think it's key that, you know, if you're a person of prayer, if you're a person of thoughts, and you want to, you know, keep them in your prayers, give them thoughts and help them, because I think it's key. Thank you, Jeannie. I think it's key that we be that voice for them. Little baby Fabian, think of that. Think of that. And so I think that it's key at the end of the day. You know, we know that this whole world we live in is a bad world. And all we can do is take it one day at a time. And at the end of the day, I do this channel for the victims. I also do this channel for you. Because when you can hear how bad people can be, when you hear and know and learn and understand, you know that you have to be alert in your world. You have to be conscious of what's around you. Okay? I just think that you cannot go through life thinking life is hunky-dory. I don't know that people actually do. I just think that it's key that you know at any moment, try to be prepared. You never know what's going to happen. As someone who's from New York City, and as someone who's been mugged twice, once as a child, another time as a teenager, I was done. I need to get out of that city, right? But truth is, I'm in St. Louis. I could get into trouble, right? I could be in the wrong place, wrong time, and something bad happen to me. I gotta be alert. I gotta be aware. I gotta know where I shouldn't be going sometimes, right? But even if in a matter of a second something bad can happen, the best we can do is stay as alert as we can without living in fear, because no one should live in fear. My friends, thank you so much for joining me tonight. At the end of the day, this is not about me, but I appreciate you being here with me late at night as we're at 1:19 in the morning. And if you caught the first one without the audio and you came back, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay alert, stay aware. Be careful out there. Peace.